Yo, welcome back to another episode of the What We Gonna Do podcast. I am your host, AJ. Hope that everybody is doing well and, hope that, your year is getting started on the right page. Hopefully everybody got a chance to check out my last episode. I'm switching it up. When I initially created this podcast, I wanted it to be something that talked a little bit about everything that's going on for just regular common people and kind of what we gonna do about it, you know what I mean? But sometimes it's gonna be serious, sometimes it's gonna be entertaining, sometimes it's gonna be insightful, but the whole purpose is to really just come from a real guy's perspective, you know what I mean? I'm not some millionaire, you know what I mean? I'm just a regular guy living a regular life, you know what I'm saying? Wife, kid, the whole nine, job, etc., etc., etc. So, but I did say that, I'm going to talk about a lot of things. So, music is one, social issues is another, politics, family life. I mean, just a variety of things. One thing that I also plan on touching on just from time to time is sports. Just kind of looking at it and just my thoughts and, just what's going on. Now, it's not going to be some type of sports thing where I'm like, oh, LeBron, did you see the Cavs? It's not going to be no shit like that. It's really going to be just like looking at it from a general manager perspective, from a fan perspective, as far as like some of the business things and, maybe things like that. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily like, oh, did y'all catch the game and I'm giving you a play-by-play or I'm telling you what's going on with different players or talking about some fight in the NBA. Nah, that shit ain't gonna happen. But today's episode is about the NFL. What we gonna do about the NFL? I don't know. But we're gonna talk about it today, and I'm gonna start y'all at the beginning and I'm gonna take y'all to the end. I'll tell y'all what the beginning is here in just a minute. First, you can find me on social media at What We Gon' Do Pod. That's GONE. If you would like to email me with any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to email me whatwegondo@gmail.com. If you would like to support the podcast, you like the content, you like the host, whatever it is, make sure you go to patreon.com/What We Gon' Do. All it takes is $1. $1 that gets you in the door. If I could take it down to 50 cents, I would, but $1 that gets you in the door, that'll help me just buy more equipment, fund the podcast host, whatever the case may be. That's what that is going towards specifically. It's not for me to go out and I got money, so I mean, it's not for me to just kick it. I really want to put that back into the podcast, just to make it a better experience for you all. Also, for those of you using hosting platforms, and even for those of you who are not sure where to start with your podcast, go to podbean.com/What We Gonna Do. Listen, if you don't go there, I don't get the credit. And if I don't get the credit, then that's still good for you. But, help me help you. Go to podbean.com/What We Gonna Do to get a free 30 days of unlimited hosting. That's on me. That's my link. That's what I have created. You can go through whatever other link you want to. I'm just asking that you use my link. It's the same thing. Doesn't really make much of a difference. You're just helping me out, and I would greatly appreciate it. I won't be over your podcast. I won't be able to see any of your stats. This is just something that I'm working with Podbean on, and this actually helps me again to put back into the podcast what you guys are, allowing me to receive, so to speak. All right. By the time y'all hear this, the Super Bowl will be tomorrow. So I'm going to release this on Saturday. But again, Super Bowl is on that Sunday, I believe. Yeah, I think it's on the 4th? So I came here today and I pretty much wanted to start with Colin Kaepernick. This is specifically about the things that have been transpiring over the last 2 years or so, just with the NFL, all of the controversy, everything that's going on with the NFL, and just my thoughts. Colin Kaepernick, the former starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, started protesting by sitting down during the singing of the national anthem in the preseason of 2016. After the game, he stated, quote, "I am not going to stand up to show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses black people and people of color. To me, this is bigger than football, and it would be selfish on my part to look the other way. There are bodies in the street and people getting paid leave and getting away with murder," end quote. He then later on began kneeling. Cap opted out of his contract in March of 2017, which became an even bigger discussion. I don't necessarily remember the entire play-by-play, but this started a conversation that's still rumbling today. So when this initially started and I started seeing different things about Cap, I want to say back in 2016, I was like, look, man, I know why he's sitting down. They was trying to figure out if he was going to be the starter or not. He lost his starting job. Now he's sitting down. You know what I mean? I really looked at this, and even to this day, I don't necessarily know what his intentions were initially. But to me, it was just like, he was looking for some type of attention, that it wasn't really about the message, that he had to find a message because he wasn't playing. Because I feel like if he had been playing, or if he had been the starter, a lot of these things wouldn't have occurred. Again, I don't know, but I just didn't really take it serious. I was like, he doing this just because he's not playing. Because where was this Kaepernick before? That was kind of my thing, was like, look, I ain't the biggest Kaepernick fan. I'm not necessarily saying I'm the biggest hater. I thought Alex Smith shouldn't have lost his job, and he went to Kansas City, and he played better than Cap played for the 49ers, but that's neither here nor there. I was just like, I don't know. I'm like, we'll see how serious he is about this, because he doesn't have a history of it. I don't know what occurred in his life to make him decide to go ahead and start this, and then whatever the case may be. But it was just real weird to me that they had a bad season the year before, that he lost his starting job, and now he's become, Afrocentric, pro-black, and all of this other stuff. I just felt some type of way about that, you know what I mean? And what I told a lot of people was, regardless of how you feel about Kaepernick, the message is more important than the messenger. And I think people were kind of getting it mixed up, because it was him, that he was starting this message and getting people to look at the anthem and looking at different things. But I always said, regardless of his reasons, regardless if he has some underlying meaning for doing these things, regardless if he's trying to work something out so he can, the message stands. Regardless of who's leading the message. You know what I'm saying? The message stands. So that's the beginning. What that actually led into was players starting to kneel. Now, we're going to discuss why players kneel and, kind of things around that. Like-minded players began taking a knee shortly after this in 2016. So remember earlier, I said this started in the preseason of 2016. Shortly after, additional players started taking a knee, and this only grew in 2017. In 2017, we started to see entire teams protesting, and this occurred damn near throughout the league, to the commissioners, owners, corporations, fans, players, 45, and his minions' dismay. The message was loud and clear. We are taking a stand for what we believe in. Social injustice, social inequality, what we're seeing essentially just going on that doesn't necessarily impact us directly, because that was another thing. It's like people was feeling some type of way. They're like, oh, you guys are millionaires, shut the hell up, just play football, and we don't want to hear none of this political stuff. Like, it's so crazy how many conversations came out of, like, do we separate the player from the person? You know, it's just like a weird thing. It's like, man, at the end of the day, these people are human. They see what the hell is going on. You know what I mean? And if they use their platform, which would be the NFL, one of the most, widely broadcast sports in the world, at least in the U.S., then that's what they have to use. That's their vehicle. That's their mobile. You know what I mean? That's what it's for. And I didn't see anything wrong with that. You know what I mean? Wherever you want to make your demonstration heard and wherever it can be heard the loudest, use that. Again, Kaepernick to the rest of the players. So eventually, soccer players, hockey players, WNBA players, baseball players, college and high school players began to join in on the protests. Now, this definitely added some more attention to it because it's like, wow, this is really spilling over. It's becoming a movement. We want to get the national anthem changed. We want to see this happen in our community. We want to see, it's like, okay, everybody is letting it be known. It's almost like like a vote. You know what I mean? Just like, look, we letting it be known. This is how we feel. This is why we're doing this. We want to see change. We're affected by it. Somebody we know is affected by it. Other people outside of the people that we know are affected by it. People are affected by it in this world. So we want to see change. This is all that we're asking for. These are peaceful protests, not harming anyone. The thing about the public schools, though, is that public schools started having these different issues where they were trying to, or they were disciplining students for taking part in these demonstrations, whether it was on the field or whether it was somewhere else. But I want to be clear, public schools can't discipline students for silent acts of political protest that don't disrupt the operations of a school, like kneeling for the anthem or refusing to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Let me say that again. Public schools can't discipline students for silent acts of political protest that don't disrupt the operations of a school, like kneeling for the anthem or refusing to say the Pledge of Allegiance. It's also constitutionally mandated. You can see the Board of Education versus Barnett for the mandate. So, I mean, that's that. You got to let people express how they feel the way that they feel, especially in schools. I mean, what are we teaching our kids by reprimanding them for something that they believe in? Now, again, this is not inciting violence. This is not harming anyone. This is not being bigoted. This is not being racist. This is not being prejudiced. This is taking a stand for what you believe in and demonstrating with your physical self, I am a part of this movement. I support this movement. I would like to see change myself. That's what it is. This is why players kneel. This is why Colin Kaepernick kneeled. So moving forward, let me not forget, because these things are pivotal. Each kind of part is pivotal to the overall of what's going on. So, y'all president and the vice president, on September 24th, 2017, the NFL protest became so widespread when over 200 players sat or kneeled in response to Donald Trump's calling for owners to fire the protesting players. Quote, it's y'all president. Get that son of a bitch off the field right now. Out. He's fired. He's fired. And quote, a total disrespect of our heritage. End quote. I don't know if y'all get mad just hearing that shit. Man, that's one thing I gotta say. It's like motherfuckers talk about leaving the country and this, that, and the third, and this motherfucker talking about disrespecting our heritage. The U.S. is founded on violence. So people protesting peacefully is disrespecting our heritage. I guess in a word, yeah, he's right. Because this shit is built on violence. You know what I mean? This whole country is built on violence. So I guess doing something peacefully And not being violent is disrespecting somebody's heritage. Not my fucking heritage, but clearly it's disrespecting, whoever believes this bullshit's heritage. The White House also staged a walkout when y'all Vice President Mike Pence left a game between the NFL's Indianapolis Colts and the San Francisco 49ers. Quote, because President Trump and I will not dignify any event that disrespects our soldiers, our flag, or our national anthem. That shit was funny. Like, hey, if y'all don't come on now, that's funny. Really? Really? I'm glad y'all will not dignify any event. First of all, y'all got to relax on this shit about disrespecting the soldiers. The veterans came out and stood up for Kaepernick. Then talking about our flag, and you got the president, whoever president, he don't even know the national anthem. You know what I mean? He don't even put his hand over his chest when the flag is waved. It's just like a whole bunch of some of the dumbest shit, man. Like, it's crazy how, everybody kind of figure out when they want to pick up they thing. Like, a lot of shit that people literally could give two fucks about, until somebody protested or get to complaining about it, nobody says anything. Like, it's not, they don't defend it, they don't stand up for it, they don't say shit. But as soon as somebody say something, they like, I'm that guy, and you're talking about me, and blah blah bloopity blue, and like, what? I ain't never seen your ass sing the national anthem. And you know damn well when you at the house, you don't stand up for the national anthem. And this shit ain't got nothing to do with saluting the soldiers and shit like this. Like, come on, man. Like, be for real. So, they do these things, and all that does is just give people, like I said at the beginning, more fire. Because, again, when that happened with 45, everybody was like, oh, we all in now. You know what I'm saying? We all in now. And it was just funny to me. Again, I'm not watching. I stopped. I'll talk about it later, but I stopped watching football. So I'm just seeing this stuff on social media, and I'm seeing it on Yahoo News, and I'm seeing it on Instagram, and I'm just kind of laughing. Like, because to me, it's like a whole bunch of stupid stuff. I felt like the NFL should have done a better job, and I'll kind of talk about that here more in a minute. But I was just like, really? And I don't see why we can't, do something to get the national anthem changed. A lot of people don't give a fuck about the national anthem, man. I'm just gonna, come on, man. A lot of people, everybody don't bleed red, white, and blue. Even those who defend our nation don't bleed red, white, and blue. For a lot of people, it's just a job. You know what I mean? A lot of people not living and dying for the sake of this country, because this country is not living and dying for the sake of each and every individual in this country. We see what's going on with the Democrats and Republicans. We know what's going on locally, and we know that it would be nice if this whole system was built up and set up for the people, but it's not. Ask yourself, what are your governors doing? Like, what is their job? What do you know that they're doing? Ask yourself, what are your senators doing? What do they get paid for? Like, what is their actual job? Like, what do they do for the state? Just kind of ponder on it. I don't know. Y'all can let me know what you think. Do you even know who your senators are? And I'm not necessarily blaming that on each and every individual, because that's twofold. It should be clearly communicated, and we should be paying attention. What was that Denzel statement? If you watch the news, you're misinformed, and if you don't watch the news, you're uninformed. I mean, you just kind of, it's just slippery slope. You kind of got to just pick your position and kind of go in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't really straddle the fence, man. You gotta get in there and see what's going on. So at this point, we are now at a full NFL boycott, because I feel like the NFL boycott, I didn't really start seeing that trend until 2017. I think it was just kind of like people kind of wanted to see what was going on. People wanted Kaepernick to get another opportunity to, to be a quarterback. Again, like I said, he opted out of his contract in March of 2017. People just kind of wanted to see what was going on. And then it just seems like it got to a point where there was like a stalemate. Cap is not getting a job. He's not getting contacted by any teams. There's a lot of banter. People talking about possibly picking him up, but they're not really serious about it. Is he going to stop kneeling if we sign him to a contract? Is he not going to stop kneeling? It was a lot of different things going on. All I know is everybody was kind of watching. You know what I mean? It took away from the NFL draft and seeing these young men, get to fulfill their dreams and actually have an opportunity to play in the NFL. It took away from really just what's going on in the game and stuff that people put their blood, sweat, and tears into. And let's not even get to talking about concussions and, CTE and just, there's a lot of stuff that's going on, man. But again, this is another thing that's just taken away from the NFL and these young men getting an opportunity to play and just putting it all out on the field. So the NFL boycott starts, and I'm just like, damn, what am I supposed to do? I can't get in no football pools. I can't make no money or nothing like that. You know what I mean? I got to take this serious, though, because I'm really not feeling that the NFL is actually taking a certain stance on this. I just felt like the owners weren't taking the right approach and the commissioner wasn't taking the right approach. This is very much, unlike the NBA. Which you would think, but it's crazy how the NBA is essentially more progressive than the NFL, and you can look up the origins of different sports and just kind of go from there. But it's like, I don't know how, because people talk about it. What the NFL is 70% black, or minority or something like that, and the NFL is still so behind in its thinking and its handling of these situations, which are important, which are relevant to all of us that enjoy football or take a part in football. So, boycott the NFL, essentially, they asked, different people, various minds, asked that fans no longer watch the NFL in any form or on any medium. That means YouTube, that means highlights, no. We boycotting the NFL. We sick of this stuff. Need to change. They not doing right by the players. The owners are not standing up for the players. The coaches are not standing up for the players. Some of the players ain't even standing up for the players and what they see going on. Everybody is kind of trying to act like they're oblivious and that whatever goes on outside of the NFL and outside of what we do on Sunday, Monday, and Thursday is irrelevant. That has nothing to do with us. You know what I mean? But it does, because when it hits home, it hits home. If it's one of your family members, best believe you're going to feel some type of way. You know what I mean? So various minds ask that fans no longer watch the NFL in any form or on any medium, attend any games, or purchase any NFL materials or products. And I remember going to social media and I was like, so who boycotting the NFL? Because I'm like, niggas ain't going to boycott the NFL. Like, come on, man. Like, people is too connected. NFL is too sentimental for a lot of people to disconnect from it. And I was just sitting there thinking, do I even want to protest the NFL? Do I even want to boycott the NFL and stand with Kaepernick and all this other shit? And I was like, no. But I did say yes to the message and the reason. And for that reason, I was like, I can't watch. I wasn't really watching football no way at this time. I kind of had took a break anyway, but it's like, I can't watch even if I want to. So I joined in. In my mind, the NFL, they took their stance. You know what I mean? And it was like, they took their stance by not being clear on whose side they stood on. Are you going to side with the president? Are you going to side with the president? Or are you going to side with the players and the community and the fans and just what you're seeing in the world, injustice? Like, what are you going to side with? This shit is real. This shit ain't, make-believe or nothing like that. Again, Colin Kaepernick still without a job at this point. And all I got to thinking was, what's next? what happens after the NFL boycott? Like, what are you expecting? What do you believe is going to happen? What would make people turn around and be able to get back to enjoying the NFL? Because in my mind, this shit gonna keep happening. You know what I mean? It's not really gonna go away. You know, my whole thing was like, what is this solving? What do we intend to have changed by boycotting and by protesting? It just wasn't clear to me what everybody was kind of looking for. You know, as far as like specific things. Okay, what, you know, are we gonna do this until the national anthem is changed? Are we going to do this until we have police reform across the nation? What are we going to do this for until? I just couldn't figure that out. On November 30th, 2017, the owners and the Players Coalition reached an agreement on Wednesday night on a financial plan that will provide funds to charities and causes geared towards social justice, reform, and racial equality in an effort to end the player protest. The deal will commit at least $89 million through 2023 to local and national community efforts related to social justice reform. Player protests have dwindled since that time, but have not ended, and seemingly nationally will have irrevocable effects on the immediate future. So, the NFL basically, came together with this plan. Basically, we're going to pay y'all to stand y'all ass up. We're going to put a little money out, $89 million, boom. Here y'all go. You know what I mean? We tired of this, blah, blah, blah. Let's just get back to playing the game that we want to see y'all play. What do y'all think? $89 million through 2023. Let's see, what is it? This happened 2017. What's that? 30, 60, 90. No, through 2023. So it's not 30, 60, 90. So what's that? Like 15. So it's like 15 million a year invested into social justice reform. Something like that. I don't know. No, that ain't right either. 2023, what is it? Yeah, look, I can't think right now. So 3, 4, 6. What's that? I don't know. It's like 20 million or something like that, right? A year. 20, 40, 60, 80, 90. Something like that. Yeah. It was about 20 million a year. So anyway, that's like a drop in the fucking bucket. That was my main point. Fuck the math. I'm sorry. It's late. My mind is all messed up. But anyway, what is that really doing? Like, I can't wait to see what comes out of that. You know what I mean? Specifically, but I don't think that was a solution. I don't feel like that really settles the players' needs. In my mind, do that and allow the players to protest peacefully. Like, say we're standing with our players and we understand why this is happening, why they're doing what they're doing. Like, that's what I would prefer. Solidarity. Not, this little money for y'all to stand the hell up for the next 5 years or whatever. So, am I done with the NFL? Are y'all done with the NFL? I mean, I know some people are. Like, I hear people who are long-standing fans, they got a favorite team, they got a favorite player, they got all this, and they're like, I'm done. Because y'all acting like some bitches. You don't want to do this because you don't want it to mess up your contract. People out here dying. Like, I understood that. And I was just like, look, man, if you ain't going to stand up for it, then get the fuck out the way, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you ain't going to support it, don't sit here and be down talking what's going on as if it isn't relevant, as if it, it doesn't make sense or whatever. Like, people is just kind of making something out of nothing. You know what I mean? You got to move around. This is, a serious issue. Like I said, it's not just about the messenger. It's not even really about the messenger. It's about the message. The message is bigger than Colin Kaepernick and any other player that is out there protesting currently, any other student that's out there protesting currently. The message is bigger. So for now, I'm done with the NFL. That's where I stand. You know what's so funny is that this shit actually made people watch more basketball and like other sports. You know what I mean? It's like phenomenal. Like everybody is kind of winning off of these motherfuckers losing. You know what I mean? Because again, ticket sales are going down, views are going down from different outlets, whatever's going on. So now people is watching basketball. Nobody really cared about basketball till Christmas. You know what I mean? Because you had Christmas games, that would be big matchups. These would be like playoff teams, whatever the case may be. Typically, it's the Cavs and the Warriors. It's kind of the game that you're looking for. But anyway, folks have been watching since game one of the regular season in the NBA. And if one team was on one, I remember, folks was like, damn, the season over. We might as well tank. They might as well tank the whole season. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, man, what does that happen at? Nobody was doing that. No, I don't remember nobody talking about like the first 20, 30, 40 games or whatever. Nobody. Now, folks are watching every damn game as if this is the end. The Cavs are on a losing streak. They're done. This is happening with this team. I was just like, yo. Nobody even watched basketball that much. Only time people cared about what was going on with basketball is if somebody got injured in those games. Those non-essential games, which is before All-Star Weekend. If somebody got injured, then you kind of cared. Other than that, nobody cared. Now, people is like watching shit like hawks. Like they basketball experts now. And nobody knows what's going on in the NFL. So, that's where I stand. I don't know about y'all. Before I let everybody go, I want to give you an update on Colin Kaepernick. So, in 2016, after kneeling during the playing of the U.S. national anthem prior to NFL games in protest to what Kaepernick believed to be racial injustices against black Americans, Kaepernick pledged to donate $1 million to organizations working in oppressed communities. In 2018, Kaepernick announced that he would make the final $100,000 donation of his $1 million pledge in the form of 10,000 donations to charities that would be matched by celebrities. You got to clap it up for that. I don't care how you feel about Kaepernick. Whether you think he did it sincerely, whether you think he was just using black social injustice, whatever you feel, that man put his money where his mouth is and stood by it, even without a job. And I can't do nothing but respect that. I can't be mad at that. I mean, that's dope. So, what we going to do about the NFL? I don't know. I think that it's going to be interesting to see, this upcoming year. But, it's just hard for me to put it in words. What I would say in closing, if you ask me, am I watching the Super Bowl tomorrow? My answer, unequivocally, is a resounding no. Until the NFL actually resolves this issue. So for now, I'm going to watch more college football and more NBA. As much as I love the sport and stayed damn near glued to my TV for certain teams and players, I have to take a break. And that's it. Thank y'all again for checking out another episode of the What We Gonna Do podcast. Find me on social media at What We Gonna Do Pod. Email me whatwegonnado@gmail.com. Visit Patreon, patreon.com/What We Gonna Do. Go ahead and check out Podbean as soon as this is over. Podbean.com/What We Gonna Do. Thank y'all again, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Peace. Oh yeah, one more thing. Make sure y'all go out and review, rate, subscribe. I want to see some shit on Twitter. Hit me up on Instagram. Make sure y'all holler at me, man. Let me know how y'all feel, man. Like, go give me a review. Tell me what y'all think about the show. Good, bad, other, indifferent. I want to know. All right, I'm going for real now, y'all. Peace.